buddies. Welcome to another week of glorious barn burner here with Flames Nation on the YouTubes and in your ear holes, however you take it in. It's good.
GBB.
It's good to see you. It's good to have you along. Barn burner presented by Bet365, the world's largest sports betting platform. Our good buddies. Open an account with Bet365 today. Promo code NATION. See it there? NATION. Why wouldn't you use it? Download the app. Use that promo code NATION when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. It's a Flames game day. Helmets on. They are in Ottawa.
Canada.
This is right where you want to be. No place you'd rather be than Canada, but we got some things to get into here.
Haven't they built a new rink yet?
Not yet. No, there's something about, I keep hearing LeBreton Flats or something. They keep talking about it. And
Capital District.
Scuttlebutt.
Andalauer.
Although if there was going to be a fan base or a city taking shots about a team not getting a rink, this is probably not the one.
I'm not taking shots.
I
just wondered. I feel like they might get something done.
They will.
As opposed to.
Yeah.
Or you could just stay in Canada. I mean.
With the brand new rink that's actually quite nice.
How old is it? I mean, it's been around for a while now, right? But it's massive.
Oh, the mid-90s expansion team?
When I first started, we played in the old rink.
So really? The 67s rink?
Yeah, 95, 96. And then I think it was the next year it was Canada.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Huge.
It's mahoosive.
And thing. Way outside the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
That's interesting stuff.
Yeah. Good start.
Geometry is always a hot topic.
Good start, fellas, for sure. We'll get into our opening statements for McLeod Law. I got got a nice little note from Peter Klein over the weekend.
Lovely.
What? Personal note?
Mm-hmm.
As did I.
Did you? What about you?
You can get one, Red? Does he have your number? Yeah, there you go. See.
Well, you don't check emails either. So
he doesn't get texts on his phone too, probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
Can't be too safe these days.
No, you can't be. He says 50 suits me, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Means you look good, buddy.
He says, just get a tractor with a snowblower on it. I have one. It's good for your heart. That was his advice.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Who's going to argue with Peter Klein, right? I mean, the guy knows. The smartest guy in the world, Peter Klein.
You're welcome.
Personal injury guy, also the go-to guy for your disability insurance claim. If that disability insurance company is not paying your insurance and you're getting stressed out about it, don't be stressed out. Get a hold of Peter. Get a hold of McLeod Law. It's peace of mind, friends. You just let them. You worry about yourself. You get better. You get to take care of you, and let them take care of everything else. And whatever it is that's going on in your life, you need legal assistance, legal help. It is McLeod Law. Calgary-based, Calgary born and bred. Deep roots here in the city of Calgary. They're here in Calgary. They care about Calgary. They care about you. McLeod-law.com. We'll talk about the matchup from the other night.
The matinee.
Saturday. Yeah, the matinee. But first, you've got a bad hoof. It's not good because you're getting into red wine and Christmas party season.
Yeah.
So to already have hoof rot is not great.
I've been thinking about a dry December. I need to really get things straightened out here with the hoof.
Yeah,
weren't you mad at Boomer and I for maybe suggesting that you could make some better choices?
No, you were just slandering me and suggesting I was an alcoholic when I could stop at any moment, as I'd be happy to prove here for the next little while.
Really
all right. Well, I would accept that challenge. I'll buy you a steak if you go dry December.
Okay, I'm into that.
All right.
What's we don't
dry December. It's real simple.
But here's the thing, right?
Have a drink in December.
Then you got to police it.
I don't care if if he can't be an upstanding citizen. And for me, I'd buy him 2 steaks if he doesn't have a drink for all of December. I think you should get in on that, and you should pay for the mashed potatoes.
What am I going to do with my second steak? What the hell? Oh, well, Boom's coming. All right. No, you know what? I would be the guy where I'd like, Rhett, it's December 5th. It's that Christmas party we always see each other at. I'm up. I would just tell you.
Yeah.
But what I would also do is I would send you a picture of me hammering eggnog and rum January 1st at 10 a.m. saying, I'm back, baby. So you don't have to worry about me twisting the truth.
I'm not worried about his honesty.
Yeah.
So. But his commitment, the fact is, I feel like a Bet365. I really like this one.
Yeah, you're probably at like plus 600-700.
Oh,
Come on. Come on. You know Ryan Pinder? I think you live with him. Do you know him at all?
I still like the social thing when I'm sober. It's not like I need the booze to go talk with people and be happy. I love that stuff.
Well, what will be the harder month, December or August?
August.
Yeah.
Well, probably. I don't know. We don't do a lot of work in August. That's prime beach beer season.
Yeah.
That's
unlike the heavy workload we have in December. Just right to the nub.
I got an email this morning about December's workload. So.
Yeah, I know. I did too.
Really? Workload.
Yeah. So anyway, Flames.
It's the Flames.
4 straight wins, points in 7 of their last 8.
They're playing very well, fellas.
Top shelf elf here.
You don't even need to go find that young center anymore. You got one. It's Zeri. There's your young center. He'll work on the faceoffs. That'll improve. Everything else is gravy, baby.
Listen, Confidence and Huska got together and spoke. They got it figured out. They don't, or they listen to us. Either way.
Goats Vladar in net. He makes 20 saves. Sharon Govich, goals in back-to-back games. Pospisil hadn't scored since opening night.
Really?
Power play looks like a juggernaut.
Well, I was going to say,
we
sit here and kind of harangue and, gnash our teeth about it.
Give them credit.
The PK has improved a little bit. They scored 2 against the Wild, 1 against the Rangers, 1 against the Islanders. So 4 in their last 3 games. All of them 1-goal games. All of them victories.
That's helpful.
Do you see how...
There's a
see
connection.
This? Like that's power play because you're playing close games,
tight games, Dean.
1 extra goal for 1 extra. Just
1 extra.
We're so smart.
It's hard being this smart.
It's so smart. The science might even back us up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, the penalty kill's still not.
It's
1 on 3 Saturday.
Yeah.
It's not a good time to give one up. The whole 4 minutes to play thing.
18th ranked power play. How's that?
It's just
better.
Fine. Just
getting
fine.
better, right?
Just
it was 28th last time we checked in.
I know.
Those last 3 games you just talked about.
I know. Yeah.
Up 10 spots. See you in a week. Up another 10 spots, right?
Just like that's how it works. That's how it goes. It's
easy.
That easy.
It feels like tight games is kind of the thing with this hockey club. I don't know unless the goaltending falls right out. I don't know that they're going to suddenly start blowing teams out.
No.
I think the goaltending is what it is. You're probably going to be in for some, we'll see, up by 1, down by 1.
As opposed to what? The other teams in the league that either win 7-2 or lose 7-2?
As opposed to the Oilers, where it's like we win 5-1.
We don't want the Oilers. We want McDavid, but we don't want to be the Oilers.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think that's a common theme throughout the league. It's not something special that for the Flames organization.
No, but also you've got a team that Huska's got coming to work every night. Outside of Utah and Vegas, they haven't had any flops. And so if you're going to work as hard as they've worked, and if you're going to play with the structure they have, I think you're in close games all the time. Also, your goaltending's keeping you in if you get out chance, which they've had the better goaltender most of the nights this season. When you look at all these games they've played, there's not a lot of nights where you're like, the other guys had the better goalie. And that when you've got a bit of a talent deficit, that keeps things tight too, right?
Yeah, until Conroy gets a number 1 center, we're not going to be able to outscore other teams. So when he gets that done, we'll be laughing.
Then you can get fat and sassy and lazy.
Yeah, we can get arrogant.
6-0-3 in games decided by 1 goal.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know that you can keep that.
I think that's 3rd in the NHL. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, is that one of those stats where you look at it, you're like, that should probably be like reflective of your record at the end of the season? Like, we're a 600 team, we're 601 goal games, or do you think it's a special trait you can unlock? I kind of think that's just a hot run. You're due from certain regression there.
Yeah. Also, I kind of noted a little resiliency we saw there the other day because you're up 3-1.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's 3-2. Empty net. Oh, then you give up the tying goal with 34 seconds left. Well, crap.
Same with the Rangers.
Wild are a really good team. They come in here. Okay, so you get through overtime. You go to the shootout. They go up 1-0. Sharon Govich and Kuzmenko don't score. Boldy can win it. Save. Kirkland scores to extend it. You trade some goals. Anderson wins it. you hung in there. It would have been easy just to
what are you
shit
talking
yourself
about?
an OT. What?
What are you talking about? They're not going to shit themselves in OT.
No.
It's just 3-on-3.
2 in the last 4 minutes, right? They're not fragile at all. They're like, okay,
Yeah,
let's get back to work. And just like with the Rangers, 2-0 lead, they're out shooting them 25 to something after a period. They immediately give that back in one sequence.
And Kirkland's a guaranteed goal.
Boldy scores, game over. Kirkland doesn't score, game over.
Instead,
everything fell into place. They found a way to win. They're
Resilience.
finding ways, boys.
They are.
Stick to itiveness.
Lineup tonight.
All the cliche words.
Same. You'll get back-to-back Hanley, maybe the first of the season for back-to-back Hanley. And Wolf will be in as the only change. So lines and pairs are the same, goalie swap.
Thank you, Boom.
Woo! I feel like we can't change it now.
No, you can't.
Like that's
you cannot change.
Why do you guys play Ric Flair? No, that's a wolf.
The only way to make it better is if someone refers to Ric Flair, you have an actual wolf howl. Why haven't you been using that?
So Wolf in the nets tonight, eh? That's good.
Yeah, why not? Good, yeah.
That's good.
Are we all feeling very comfortable with the squad at this point? Like,
this is house money, boys, right? Even if they don't make the playoffs and it falls apart a bit.
I don't know. I'm going to argue that because they've played so well. If they don't make the playoffs now, I feel like you guys they would have to. I mean, the league is so tight that, yes, is it possible they could lose some games and fall out? But they've played well in it. Why shouldn't we expect them to continue?
Oh, I think expectations have changed. I'm just trying to remind you where expectations were. It was after the Vegas Utah games 3 weeks ago. You were like, these vets are going to check out. This team's toasted. Like, that wasn't that long ago, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, I thought that going into the season, and then those 2 games, and now I'm like, no, now we can't let them off the hook.
No.
And so while I agree with you, I also understand they've probably had 3 weeks of getting a lot of the breaks. Like, your goalie's not just going to be 950 for 3 weeks. But to your point earlier, like, power.
But then what if the power plays better? What if some guys Sharon Govich sighting?
Peaks and valleys of a season. So.
Yeah, totally. So we don't want to overreact to the back-to-back bad losses, just like you don't want to overreact when they win a 4-game homestand, sweeping them. Like they look great right now
against good teams.
Yeah. Minnesota's rock solid. Rangers are good. Isles.
No, but hey,
Isles are inspiring.
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what everyone talked about on the weekend.
They were so inspiring. They cured insomnia. How about that?
So now it's the Ottawa Senators, who are 1 point out of last in the Eastern Conference.
Am I deja vu? Because every year I'm like, they got to be better.
Are you punking me?
What's this?
This is last year's
they improved.
No, I put a thing.
They got a new goalie team.
They got Allmark.
I know they got Allmark and Kachuk's older and Stutzla is doing all the things. But
maybe you didn't refresh the page because it was last year's standings. Just give it a refresh real quick and let me know what you see there.
I think I put something in the drive.
Yeah,
there, Jackie boy.
Make sure it's this year we're talking about.
And it was just kind of a let's take a look see and what are we looking at here, because this all feels very eerily similar to what we've seen in recent years. Yeah, and it's I guess it is, because you're not. Yeah, they're in that 19. Like, what do they got for points here right now? I mean, they have 17. It's 19, 17 after the 20 game mark every single year. So I don't know. You've been highly critical of them. I think others have been hopeful that this is the year they're going to
just lose a lot of trades. Like every time they make a transaction, it feels like they're turning the dollar into 70 cents. Like, you bring in DeBrincat at a high cost, you send them out for much less. You bring in Chychrun for a high cost, you send them out for much less. You give away Gustafsson, who's been great in Minnesota, in exchange for Cam Talbot. There's a lot of, like, they're missing some 3-foot putts here. Aren't they?
It's going to sting the most, isn't it?
Well, all three of those are brutal.
Well, Pierre Dorion makes hockey decisions. So
and the new guy, still some weird ones.
Who's the new guy?
Well, Steve Stais.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he and Andela are tied at the hip, apparently.
Hip.
And look, I don't know how to feel about Allmark. I'm not here telling you. I watched a lot of Boston games. They clearly wanted Swayman to go in the playoffs. That's when they broke the alternation after a few games in that series against Toronto in round 1. I think he's probably a very good goalie. We liked him for the small flash he had in Buffalo on a bad team before he was signed in free agency by the Bruins. He won a Vezina there. I think it's probably just not a great defensive environment for goalies to work in because no goalies look good there the last 5 years.
Jockey boy, is that in the draw? I think it's in the draw. I think it's Sens, Senators. So is he? Is it all Russell Wilson?
Yeah, he's.
Is it Freiermuth? Getting ready for it's a big week. So there you see, first 20 games since 2019. 8 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins, 7 wins, 10. So 17, 11, 9, 15, 20, 17. You can, I mean, the thing of it is, those are 500 or worse or considerably worse.
Gross.
Over a 6-year span. This year, 8, 11, and 1.
So you take 6 years, like a better part of a decade, and your hottest start is 500 through 20 games. With Stützle, with Tkachuk, with Sanderson, with Shabbat, with Norris. Like, gross.
Yeah, should be better. No question. You would think. And it's not as though there's a big rip-roaring evening of the record over the course of the season. They kind of start slow, and then it's middling, and then miss the playoffs.
And they get hot at the end and ruin their draft spot by a couple picks. Yeah.
They lost. They lost to Vancouver on Saturday. It's their 5th straight defeat. 0-4-1.
Oh, that's
okay. Outscored 21-11 in the 5-game skid.
See, and I get them not like being great defensively because that's just what they've been. But for that team not to score, that's confusing. Stützle, Tkachuk, Norris, Pinto, Giroux.
Well, even their defensemen, right?
Yeah,
I would think that they should be contributing on.
But and here's the thing: they are scoring. They have the 5th-ranked power play.
Yeah,
28.8%. They're 15th in goals for per game, 3.1. They're 17th in total goals scored. So they're middle of the pack. They're top 5. Did I say 5? 5th? Is that what it was? Their penalty kill is 15th, so it's middle of the pack. 24th in goals against per game. Are they just not? Is it are the nights they score they're giving up too many? The nights they don't score, it's I don't know.
How's that new coach?
I was just thinking that, Red. I was talking to some people on the weekend about that. Doesn't this remind you of the underachieving Vancouver Canucks when Travis Green was there? That hire made no sense to me.
No, it still doesn't. Never did. I don't know what Stevie was thinking on that one.
Well,
look, maybe they straighten it out and Travis Green's a better coach the second time around. We've seen that before, but start hasn't looked like it.
Well, and I don't know that you can hang it all on Green because the players have been there long enough that it's like, well, how many coaches there's only one coach in the world that can lead this team, and who is it and how do you find them? Like, go play, fellas.
Let's get to the Insider Hotline. It's a presentation of Crystal Waters, your crystal clear choice for all residential plumbing, heating, and cooling services. We got a little intel from the fellows over at Crystal Waters. Preventative maintenance. It sounds boring, right? Well, it's working, so I just assume it's going to keep working. Do I really need to make an appointment for someone to come in and look at my thing that's working? I get it, but apparently, quite a few calls coming in. I've got no heat. I've got no hot water. Ooh. That sort of stuff happens.
Now we have your attention.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't wake up at 2 a.m. and then have to pay some bunch of donkeys to come in and fix. Get Crystal Waters in there to just ensure that you're safe and ready for winter. Your plumbing, your heating equipment, ensure that you're ready for the snap that's kind of already here. And barn burner customers, if you need a hot water heater, an AC, furnace, discounts and upgrades up to $1,000 in value. Crystal Waters, 403-219-4100. Check them out, crystalclearcalgary.com, dailyfaceoff.com, and our insider, Frank Seravalli. Hello, Frankie boy.
How was your birthday?
Pretty quiet. I had a daughter and a wife that were out of town. I had an oldest son who was out of town. So yeah, I was just kind of went and had a steak.
Yeah.
On Friday night, had a steak. And then
that is what the geriatrics do these days.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steak and some cream spinach, and what a night.
Yeah. Then swung by the old Canadian Tire to grab some things on the way home, and then
in bed by 7:45.
I'm gonna go to bingo, but I was tired.
Yeah, something like that.
Thanks for your contributions on Friday, Frank.
Yes, thank you, Frank. Very nice.
It's quite a collection.
The Gruden one was so good.
So good.
I got this thing. Makes me feel a nicey. This
all up there in Calgary, Canada.
On the sports in there, Calgary, Canada. You soup and buns.
Buns. I'm hearing buns.
That doesn't make me feel very nicey.
I've been talking to Pinder here.
Yeah, me and Pinder. My old pal Pinder. If you weren't paying attention over the course of the weekend, the St. Louis Blues fired a coach and hired a coach. And what we've learned is the Boston Bruins, they have things that are coveted by other teams, as this is I believe the third coach now who was fired by the Bruins and then hired less than 2 weeks later by some other team.
Crazy.
Who may or may not have had a coach at the time. They just decided, he's a pretty good coach. What do you again, since we've talked, the firing has happened. It's Joe Sacco on an interim basis, and now the St. Louis Blues have Montgomery behind their bench. Thoughts on both?
Well, for one, look, there's obviously a huge amount of trust that existed between Doug Armstrong and Jim Montgomery from his time just a few years ago as an associate coach. So last week mentioned on our pod that, if you were to list off a bunch of places that might be willing to consider firing their coach to hire Jim Montgomery, St. Louis was definitely on that list. It was St. Louis, Anaheim, Detroit, all teams that have lots of ways to go in terms of where they're heading. And I think that relationship kind of puts it over the top. You don't have to guess. It's not like, hey, what would this be like if we brought in this guy? He was already on our bench and worked in our organization. I talked to a couple players there that played for Montgomery, a few years ago as an assistant or associate, and they said everyone loved him. So I think that part stands out. The commitment also that St. Louis was willing to make, 5-year deal, is rather extraordinary in these times, given that, a guy just a couple years into his tenure now will stretch you into the top 10 and longest tenured coaches. Look, Drew Bannister, he got 22 games full time as a non-interim head coach in the NHL. These guys it's the not here for long league. And beyond that, when you look at Montgomery, his track record, I think the only thing I'm left with is asking, it's great that you made the decision to hire him and bring him in, but what are your honest and realistic expectations for this team in this current competitive cycle? Do you think that this is a playoff team that has underachieved? Or do you think that this is a team that has just had some poor coaching contribute to where they are right now?
Or is it just one of those moves you make regardless? If you know that this is an upgrade, whatever you think of,
this is top 5 coach in the league, I got to go get him.
Berube, I guess, wore out that happens, and then they moved to Bannister, and they're not feeling it. And I think it was it Bushnevich or somebody who was kind of sniping. Not sniping, but I mean, it was kind of veiled shots at the coach.
Our breakout was bad, and we changed our breakout, and we played better.
Yeah,
basically is exactly what he said.
Yeah. So I wonder, when you look around and you aren't sold on your coach, whether you're a cup contender this year or the year after, like you say, it's a 5-year deal. So, I mean, that's clearly what they wanted the guy. It's what they were prepared to do.
Or maybe Montgomery had leverage.
Probably.
Sounds like a lot, Frank.
Yeah.
5 years.
So the other thing I really liked about it was that Doug Armstrong didn't pull any punches. It was not like, well, he just said, we had a better coach available to us and we decided to do it. Like, no offense, Drew Bannister, but please, sir, step aside.
Yeah.
The real guy's here.
Yeah. Honesty, which probably is tough for Bannister to hear, but I think it is the case for sure.
I mean, think about the way that he's built this team, though. Like, this summer, you see 2 guys that are RFAs being jammed up by their team, trying to get wedged into the salary cap and whatever remaining dollars the Edmonton Oilers have left. And Doug Armstrong says, yeah, I'll offer sheet 2 guys from the same team at the same exact time. If you want loyalty, get a dog. I mean, that's really the thought process. Drew Bannister, is awesome having you here, but sorry, we got something better.
And he always felt like
the ruthless way that he's done it is the way I think so many more teams in the NHL should. That's how they should operate. What are we playing nice in the sandbox for?
Yeah, agreed.
Bannister's still going to get his money. So, yeah.
And he wasn't highly paid to begin with, and the fact that after being an interim, he only got a 2-year deal at the offset of this in the summer told you that he wasn't really that convinced that this was the guy anyway.
Yeah. It felt like a placeholder, and he has been.
Sorry, Ryan. Any idea what the the salary is for Montgomery there?
Don't
5
know.
times.
It's probably expensive.
Yeah.
That 4 to 6 range seem reasonable for a coach of his ilk. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a big gap. It's $2 million, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Seems to be the rate.
My guess is Bannister was in the 1 point something.
Yeah.
Good.
The Flames are in Ottawa tonight to open up a 4-game road trip. We were just kind of looking at some numbers. The Ottawa Senators are the Ottawa Senators. The Senators of old are the Senators of today. They don't start great. They don't rebound. They don't make the playoffs. They got young talent. They draft high. They make maybe some questionable moves. Fire a coach, bring in a coach, fire a coach. I would think for the fans, they got to be sick to death of it. I wonder about the new owner and what his appetite is there. What's your, I guess, just kind of a blanket kind of commentary on the state of the Senators?
It's tough to watch because I think they are a different, but in a lot of ways worse off scenario than the Buffalo Sabres, for instance. At least with the Sabres, you can point to it and say, well, they're the youngest team in the league statistically.
Right.
When you look at some of these guys on the Sens, not only are they a little bit older, a touch older, they also have like mega long-term deals attached to almost all of them. So, one of the names that popped up in conversation around the league over the weekend was, hey, the Sens are potentially willing to explore making some changes, and Josh Norris's name has popped up in conversation. Okay. 5 years left at 7.95 with a massive injury history, having missed 100+ games with the same shoulder injury. I get the idea of wanting to move a core piece, but it almost feels like if that truly is all that the Sens are willing to consider at this exact moment in time, which I don't know that to be fact, but that seemed to be the sense from some teams that I believe have been in dialogue with them. Is that an authentic shakeup? Is there real value in Josh Norris? Are people clamoring to get their hands on him?
They're going to ask you to eat some of that money probably, right? Like it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, you can make the deal. You're probably not better for it.
So are you just moving the chairs around?
It feels like it.
So look, I think the Sens had been in evaluation mode for a while, and Steve Stais came in with new owner Michael Andlauer. They had a ton of success together in the OHL, but now it kind of feels like not all that different than some of the other teams that they're stuck in the same rut with. How do we break out of this? To continue to do the same thing year after year and smash your head against the cinder block wall trying to break through, it doesn't feel like it's working. You're not winning with these guys. What's the need to hold them so tight as a security blanket?
And it's interesting because I just wonder, as a head coach, if you're a coach that's out of work or just in the league, when I look at Josh Norris and Pinto and all of that, but I still feel like between some young talent on the back end, they're obviously trying to do what they can in net. And I don't know that is working for them. I think there'd be a lot of coaches that would be like, I'd love to work with that. It's young still, even though the guys that are younger now, 25, 26, they're aging every year. They're a year older. I don't know if and,
that's how that works.
But I feel like a coach would look at that and say, I would love to have that kind of potential skill, ability on my team to try and craft, but no one's been able to do it. We were kind of going at the coach. What did you make of the coaching hire in Ottawa?
I don't think the coach is the problem. When you have the same results with the same core through multiple different regimes now, to me, it's on the core. It's no longer on the coach. And you can say what you want about Travis Green. I went to Ottawa for training camp. He mentioned that not only did he share some of that same excitement that you're talking about, but one of the first things that he learned about that group when he went there was just how willing they were to learn and do it differently, that they took ownership and responsibility for some of the issues that they had in the past and were willing to try and do it differently. I'm not seeing anything different. I'm seeing the same similar mistakes being made by the same players time after time. And now what's really tough to figure out is look at Linus Ullmark. Like, to me, I thought we'd have a tremendous study this year in one of the true things that I think analytics has really struggled to define, which is what is the impact of team structure on an individual goalie and their metrics.
Yeah.
And then you look at this year and you say, okay, Linus Ullmark, 247 games played in the NHL with a .917 save percentage for his career. He goes to Ottawa, plays 13 games, and he's .881. Okay, so you might think, okay, shitty team structure in front of him. Isn't that what we're seeing now that's contributing to Linus Ullmark's numbers? And then you actually dive in, and again, some things under dispute or not, but you look at the metrics and it says that the Ottawa Senators are 4th in the league in expected goals against, meaning they're actually supposedly defending pretty well. And now it's actually on the guy that's supposed to be making saves that just isn't. 17 goals against in his last 4 games and some really ugly ones. So are the Senators actually different and are just getting bad goaltending? Or is this more of the same?
Well, Forsberg's got better numbers behind the same team. Swayman also is off to a rough start. So I just don't know what it's changed, right? So in Boston, I knew my defenseman was going to take this side here. And like, I don't want to make excuse for these guys, but I don't know. Like, I don't think they're that good defensively.
I don't either. I just don't think they're that good in general. I just don't think they're deep enough.
Boy, and you just think, I think about you, Retro. It's the things that you can control. Effort, block some shots. Let's give a crap. There's enough skill there on the back end. There's guys in that back end that you'd move your franchise for. I mean, it should
or
be.
Are we overestimating it? Because I'm guessing none of us are sitting down and watching.
I was going to say
on a regular basis. Right?
Well, it's the same thing probably with Buffalo, though. Like, are these guys really? Do we fall in love with?
Honestly, Buffalo might have turned the corner here. They just went 3 in a row in California without Tage Thompson. No.
Yeah, no. So but that's not the point I was making. It's not, is Buffalo in or out? My point is, do teams fall in love and just overvalue the pieces that they have? Maybe they're just not that good.
I would think that that's happened a fair bit. From right now, just sitting and thoughts on it, they've overpaid these kids too soon without having them earned results, right? Like Jeff Sanderson is a good friend of mine, played with him in Buffalo. Like his kid got paid, what is he getting? Almost 8 a year?
He got more than 8.
And he hadn't played 100 games in the league.
Yeah.
He got $60-some million.
Like, and I get it, because it's
great
Canada,
for Jake,
and they don't want these guys to walk. And it's like they did the same thing with Kachuk. They did it with Stützle. Like it's kind of this Edmonton thing we saw for decades. Yes. They're so worried about guys leaving, they pay them too soon, and then it's like, well, where's the hunger?
Right. Well, I think that's a fair question to ask. But then at the same time, if you're actually in the chair and building a team, not only are you worried about them walking, but you've also just guaranteed a really great cap number for your team.
Sure.
Moving forward, like where's the balance there? I think on paper, it's 100% the smart business play from both a team building perspective and also a cap perspective. But I don't know the proper balance.
What about Buffalo? Has anyone paid attention? I was just, as you were talking, looked at the standings and was shocked to see them in a playoff spot.
In that tough division, they're 3rd.
Yeah, but the way that division works, you could go from 3rd to 8th in 1 week.
No, for sure. But listen, we know Boston just made a change. We'll see what they look like under a new coach. There's clearly, a want to be better. Tampa has been pretty mediocre after a hot start. Like for Buffalo to get in that division would be a significant achievement. I understand it's tight, but they're there. They've done what Montreal hasn't, what Detroit hasn't, what Ottawa hasn't, in the sense that they're hanging at the quarter pole.
I picked the Sabres to make the playoffs this year. One team I didn't pick to make the playoffs this year,
Ottawa.
that I'm getting real closer
Calgary.
to making a declaration, is the Calgary Flames.
You liking what you see, Frankie boy?
I am. I think it's a totally different vibe around this team. Just speaking to people that are in and around there on a daily basis, they said on a night to night, just being around the locker room and hearing those guys talk and how excited they are after games, it's night and day different from the last couple of years. And beyond that, they seem to have been linked up on this us against everyone else mentality that, look, I think is really powerful. You can say what you want, but there's plenty of examples around the league in recent years of teams that have overachieved based on a belief that they have in themselves and the rest of the group. I know I've seen all the numbers. I realize it's been like 17 games without scoring more than 3 in regulation.
Jeez.
Some might look at that and say, hey, this is a team that is achieving unsustainable results. I would actually look at the inverse in that and say it's probably just really unlucky that they've gone that long without scoring more than 3, and that will change in relatively short order.
It also tells you they're getting goaltending and good team defense, right, Frank? That's an area that I think we had a lot of questions about. We all hoped Dustin Wolf could be a future star for this team, but what you've seen from him and Vladar and the decor in front of them has been much more structured than what we're used to seeing.
And look, we're at the point in the season now where you begin to, like, the first couple weeks are a fluke, right? And, you know, any team can go 5-0-1 to start. And the real question is what happens when you get punched in the face? And I know we've heard that a lot over the last few weeks with Mike Tyson, but the Flames, they got punched in the face and had a reckoning in relatively short order of how quickly that rebound, and they became a 500 team. The response since then has been the most impressive part. And you have, you know, a game like Minnesota over the weekend, one of the best teams in the West to this point in the year. They don't blink. They find a way to continue to scratch and claw. And that scrappiness, I think, is going to really serve them well. I really do.
I love that we don't have to hear how close they are. They don't have to come out and tell us that they're a real good group. We really like each other. We're like,
I yawn every time I hear that.
Yeah.
If you have to tell people, it's probably not true. The real tight
just
group,
like the same couple that continues to post on Instagram how much they love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean, because we do it every day, and you feel like if you jump in on it, it's November. You guys, you're all. But like you say, that it feels like there's some things, and the power play has not been good. It's gotten a little bit better. So you wonder, well, if the goaltending goes down a little bit, well, what if the scoring goes up just a little bit? And if maybe, you know, the defensive play goes down a bit, what if the special teams improves just a little bit? Because there's room for both of those to improve. But it does have the feel, like you say, Red. We're all these guys. They care for each other. It's a great room. They got a great room. It feels like for the first time in a long time, I would buy it if guys are saying, yeah, guys, we have a great time. We hang out. It's a great room.
Yeah, I could.
2 years ago,
you feel like that's legit, right?
Like we watched this group under Daryl. With he wouldn't name a captain, and it felt like there were factions, and guys did not want to go to the rink. It was storm clouds the moment they got out of their car in the parking lot. 2 years later, it's night and day. Is that Huska? Is it Connie? Is it the leadership group? What do you attribute that to, Frank?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think the biggest thing is they cleaned out the room of players that don't want to be here. I think it's another reason why look at a team like Columbus this summer and the changes that Don Waddell made. If you don't want to be a Blue Jacket, we'll do whatever we need to get rid of you. Doesn't matter. Hey, Patrick Laine, we will get nothing back for you. Quite literally nothing. And we will pay a second round pick to move on from you. Jeez. Because we want players who want to be here. That's what the Flames, I mean, look how many guys are gone that could have stayed, could have signed long-term, guys that they offered to. Yeah. There was constant drama, constant noise. And now it's like, hey, it's all good. If Calgary's not your flavor of the week, we'll find guys that want to be here.
Something dawned on me last week. And
wow, alert the media.
Oh, well, trust me, I made a big deal of it on the show. When is Conroy going to go and just completely change lanes and go after guys now? Now he's adding to this team. We've got so much confidence in the group. We're going to bring. We got to score. We need one more scorer, and we are home ice through the playoffs.
I don't think he's thinking that way at all. But he is.
What?
He is trying to add.
Oh.
He is. Look, the right shot center is no surprise. I think I talked about that week 2 of the season. They're looking, but they want to find someone that fits their age scheme and is part of this next iteration, somewhere in between 22 and 25 years old that can be here for a long time. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for more scoring punch. I can tell you they're actively engaging in conversation to try and find these guys. And whether or not that materializes, like they've got the assets, the picks and prospects to be able to make something happen should something like that surface. The problem is those are exactly the type of guys that most teams are trying to keep.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I want to bring a name up here. I mean, what's going on with Trevor Zegras? Where's the market at? Will Pat Verbeek make a trade that he doesn't like, or will he just sit on an asset until it turns to dust like he's kind of done with John Gibson here? Like, what's happening with the Ducks? Where are they at with Zegras?
The Ducks are a mess, and I don't know what's happening there. I tend to think that the way that Trevor Zegras' stock has plummeted around the league, I mean, watch his play, watch his body language, look at his production. It's been a grind, and not just for him. It's been a grind for a lot of their young guys that have been in similar spots. So when will that alarm bell go off? When will changes be made? I think before anything, you'd probably have to start with the coach, because I've been on record for 6 weeks, even going back to late last season, talking about how difficult the environment has been with Greg Cronin there on these players. Look, I think that's the easiest place to start. Make a coaching change, see if you can get everyone to rebound instead of trading guys where their stock is at the absolute lowest that it's been. You're better off hanging on to the asset, because history would show that, it should and could or will get better. But look at how this has worked with John Gibson. This is going back 2 regimes now. Yep. Bob Murray, there was some talk, hey, John Gibson could be moving on. Then they said, well, we want significant value. We're not eating any part of his contract, and we want big pieces in return. Then this continues to drag on and on. Now suddenly Lucas Dostal has grabbed the net. It's been 3-4 years now since this last popped up in conversation. And yet here he is at a point where not only will the Ducks have to eat salary in order to make something happen, but they're also unlikely to get much, because his play has devolved to the point where the question is, and we just had Carter Hutton on our Daily Faceoff Live a half hour ago, is John Gibson a starter in today's NHL? His answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so. 5 years has been brutal. He was a very good player before that. He'd been your Team USA starter 5 years ago. Not anymore. He's not on that team.
Going back to exactly what we just talked about with the Flames, John Gibson has shown that he does not want to be there anymore.
Right.
I don't care what you need to do to move on from John Gibson. Again, I don't care if we're not getting anything and we're paying something. We've got a ton of picks and prospects. What's one more pick? Move on.
You mentioned the body language on Zegras. There was a goal, and I saw it on social media. I meant to grab it, not that we were going to necessarily talk to him, but I just wanted to keep it. He scores a goal, and I don't know if it was necessarily that pretty or not, but he just kind of goes to the corner and stops, and a couple of guys come in. There is no elation.
There's no joy.
There's no joy. It was just kind of maybe it was kind of like maybe that gets.
Well, he's got 2,
right? It's
boy.
This is a guy who was a mid-60s point player as a
like
19 and 20-year-old, and then not only that, the creativity everywhere.
Well, you got to have some passion for the game a little bit. And if it's gone,
well, when it gets sucked out of you from your GM, who demands that you go to Florida to train in the off season, and to the point where the team gets fined $50,000 for it. Did you hear about that?
No,
just
That was a couple years ago. Maybe 18 months ago, they were fined $50,000 by the league. They forced their young players to go to Florida for a set number of, not days, weeks, to train under the Pat Verbeek approved person in Florida. So then your coach, your GM hires a coach who basically has made it his point to berate every individual on that team. Where do you find the joy? Where does that come from? It's starting at the very top, and it's filtering its way through every facet of your operation.
And that's just it. I don't know the GM well enough to give an opinion, but if the fun's out of it, it doesn't matter if you're in sunny California making millions of dollars and your coach is making life miserable at the rink, you're not going to perform. Do I love how Trevor Zegras plays the game of hockey? I've not watched him enough. I like the talent, but the rumors have always been, well, he's very talented, but he doesn't play hockey to help the team win. He's just, but when you put
tell
a
me,
guy
so
like,
tell me, let me
I know I'm going to answer you. I know what
Okay.
you're going to say, but I'm going to say it's that's what I'm getting to. In the right circumstance, that creativity is supported and
encouraged,
embraced. And the group understands that that's what he brings.
Yeah.
That's what he brings to the, I tell it all the time. David Strush, a good friend of mine, and I hate to take a shot at him. He was coaching Bedard in Regina. And I called him. I said, Strushy, what's this kid like? Like, is it worth the hype? He's like, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable retro. But I got to get him to play both ends of the ice.
Like, yeah, but the one end he's otherworldly. Maybe just leave him that end.
You know, it just is a little story, but Zegras to me would do the same thing. It's like, you're not putting him out there down up a goal with a minute left. It's not his spot.
When are we going to harness what these guys do really well as opposed to worrying about what they don't do well? If they don't do that well, get someone else on your team that can do that for them.
Yes.
Why is Matvei Michkov, and maybe a bad example, but your team is in like 23rd place in the league. And he's the guy that, first off, people are paying to see, and he's got jam and he's super creative, a really good player. Why is he sitting out for 2 games as a healthy scratch? Because you don't like the way that he plays defensively at even strength.
What is your message to send, and why can't you send it without sitting at that guy? Yeah. Like, your team's not good enough that you can go, I'm going to bring you out because we're in here, we're winning games. I'm going to send a message so you can watch how we need you to play. You bring it up, and I've not spent time breaking down Anaheim, but if what you're saying is right, and the coach is a dick, and the GM's trying to be a hard ass, too much.
Their team slogan should just be, "We're not happy until you're unhappy."
Yeah,
I mean, that's really the way it's been.
We need to stop when morale improves.
We need Boomer. Is what
lunch today has been canceled due to a lack of hustle.
And here's the thing: there's a lot of shine coming off the Stevie Y era in Detroit. His legacy as a GM. You see Julien Brisebois doing great work after he leaves in Tampa. Verbeek was an understudy. He is an absolute Yzerman disciple. Like, where are we at on these two? Because it sounds like they're not really interested in other people's opinions, and they make life miserable for people underneath them.
You could buy into your persona too much, I think, and feel like
where you just start believing all your own bullshit.
Exactly. I'm a hard ass. That's what I'm regarded as. You know what? Again, hate Daryl Sutter would play up to the "I'm an asshole" mantra to the point of failure for, you know what I mean? Like, and you can overplay that hand. Guys don't want to go to the rink and not have fun.
Yeah.
They just don't. And you can't change that. And
look at the power of it. Look at the power of, like, not for nothing, but to bring this conversation full circle. Does anyone think that the Flames are in the top 16 in terms of talent and depth?
No.
Not one person, even like objectively their own front office, would tell you the same. Yet when you look at the enjoyment factor that team has and the way that they've bounced back, you can't tell me that it doesn't mean something and that they're not going to outkick their coverage based on the way that they enjoy coming to the rink. Versus if you actually put it on paper, you could make the argument that Anaheim has more pieces, and definitely more young pieces up front, that are way more intriguing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even put those two teams in the same conversation with where they're at right now this season.
You just wonder, being preemptively sour and miserable for fear that the players are going to take a free ride, as opposed to maybe be fair and have some good time. And then then reel them in, then give them shit if they deserve it or if they need it, but keep the mood relatively pleasant if possible. It just doesn't seem like it's that crazy.
And that doesn't let players off the hook for coasting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can walk and chew gum and probably dribble a basketball. Like, you could do more than one thing at a time.
It's interesting though, because I hadn't really thought about the other part of this, which is, so if that is really what your game plan is to just pump things up and make everyone feel good, why aren't other teams doing that?
Well, they kind of are. Like John Cooper is that guy, isn't he? He's the guy you'd pick over.
I think it's not a pump guys up. It's a accountability. I always go back to Brian Skrudland. He was my captain in Florida. Did anyone work harder than Brian Skrudland? He was the least talented player I maybe ever played with. He couldn't skate. He didn't have a shot. And he was the captain of most teams he played on. Why? Because he worked his ass off. But he didn't refer to work as punishment. I'm going to work my ass off and we're going to enjoy it and see what happens. And so it's not, I think in Ottawa, they've given away the farm and they don't have enough accountability. In Anaheim, they're too hard on these guys and they don't enjoy going to the rink. Find the balance. Have a little honesty, have a little effort, have a little integrity. Do what you're supposed to do, demand the effort, and hold, as a coach and GM, you hold them accountable. And it's not a handout.
I don't think anyone looks at Ryan Huska and says, "Oh, there you go. There's a soft coach who just lets everyone get away with everything."
This is how we do things. If you're not going to do it, well, then you don't play. Zari's sad. The guys have been benched, right?
Kuzmenko, Miramanov,
Mantha at times.
But the next day, you don't come in and berate them in front of the group. You didn't play good yesterday. You sat. Today's a new day. Let's go
to work.
Come on.
Yeah. And there's probably been some coaches who are very fair and try and promote a friendly environment who just don't have good hockey teams or bad goaltending and then get let go. Because I'm thinking about, prior to Daryl, you needed to make a coaching change. Because he was too nice or whatever. I wasn't hard enough on the player. You need a red ass. You need a guy that's hard on the players. Or they just needed better goaltending, needed to play better, weren't good enough. I don't know.
There's accountability to the player too. And I'll just use Zegras because we've talked about him. If he's a putz and a bad teammate, that changes things too, right? If he's a bad teammate, there's teams that have. I don't know that Lindholm and Zadorov and all the guys that were wanted out of Calgary were bad teammates. But like we just said, if you have guys that don't want to be there or they are a bad teammate, it's a cancer in the room. You got to get rid of it.
But and going back to the Flames, that's why I thought it was so critically important that as soon as that crappy leaked Zadorov trade request came out when they were in Toronto last year, the fact that Craig Conroy acted quickly and was like, "Hey, you're out of here."
They probably could have got more, but it wasn't worth the room, right? It wasn't worth to make that third rounder 2 years sooner. Wasn't worth letting that poison stay in the well for another 2 months.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he gets enough credit for that because guess what? He was getting hammered in your market for a while saying, look at these individual trade returns. Not great. I don't know. I look at the totality and I stressed it then. I look at the totality of it. I go, looks pretty good to me.
How's Saquon Barkley working out for the Birds?
Oh boy.
Pretty
good.
If you like MVPs, well, if that's an award you can buy into.
How about the Giants though? What do you think they feel like today?
Smug, Frank.
Someone said last night as he ran for that final 70-yard touchdown that put him over 250 yards on the game. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Giants management office tomorrow.
Yeah.
$112 million guaranteed to Daniel Jones, who has a tearful press conference and then walks in the next morning and says, you know what? I'd like to be released.
Yeah.
They weren't going to play.
Oh, sure. Hey, we'll make that happen for you. No problem. Like, what? We just gave you $92 million just this past summer. Shut up and sit down. Like,
they didn't want him around either.
No, they're playing him on scout team safety. They weren't playing him at quarterback. He was going to rot and be embarrassed the rest of the way. That doesn't do any good for anyone. Out of spite, you keep him around, Frank? Come on.
I don't know.
It's okay.
It just looked like the most soft organization ever. Yeah, we'll just hand you a pile of money. And you said you wanted to release now. Oh, no problem. All good. I know that sounds totally counterintuitive based on the conversation we just had.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Like, you can't be making decisions like that and then not have consequences as a front office, particularly in letting Saquon Barkley go.
But how did these things happen? I still laugh. NFL stuff is funny to me because it's such a cash cow and the biggest thing in the world, well, at least in North America, as far as sports is concerned. And they just shit the bed over and over and make stupid. And it's like, how are you fooling people with?
Yeah. How is your key fob still letting you in the building?
What's amazing about the NFL though is just how quickly you can turn it around.
Yeah.
You can quite literally go from god awful team to knocking on the door of the playoffs in one offseason. New coaches, new draft picks.
But isn't that because I was talking about a guy you probably got to go. Now we're talking about fun stuff. It has to be part of it's because you're drafting guys that are stepping in next year, right? Like the fact that the NHL draft you can make some good picks, but it is a coin flip. If you put that draft worse 2 years later, right?
Do you, Rhett? So let me ask you this as an NHL draft pick. What percentage of NHL draft picks actually end up playing one game in the NHL?
Overall, 5%?
It's higher than that.
I'd
19.
Okay.
19.
81% of guys that are drafted never play a game.
Jeez.
And I wonder if you take the first round out.
And if you get drafted, they're trying to give you a game.
Right.
100%. They're doing everything they can to get you a game. So let's spin this a different way. Of the top, let's call them the core players on each team. So top 6 forwards, top 4 defensemen, and starting goalie. What percentage of those guys do you think are drafted by the team?
Their own team that has the rights?
Yeah.
30?
Yeah.
12.
Oh my God.
No.
12%. That's why rebuilds take 8 years.
So what you're saying is Bobrovsky, Reinhart, Bennett, those guys, Forsling, Kachuk, they
were all drafted elsewhere.
And yet we're going to turn around to the point we just had about Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit, Anaheim, all these teams that drafted their guys and are like, oh my God, we're going to keep them forever. Maybe you shouldn't.
Have a great week, Frank. Appreciate you as always, pal.
Bye, Frank.
See you guys.
There you go. Frank Seravalli joining us on the Insider Hotline, a presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating. Your crystal clear choice for home comfort. Call them at 403-219-4100. Check them out at crystalclearcalgary.com. Preventative maintenance. Because when who's it gonna fall on? There's no hot water, or there's a foot of water in the basement, or it's freezing cold in here and the furnace doesn't work. You're going to have to figure that out. Get on it.
Crystal Waters.
Wake up at 2 a.m. Oh my God, what is happening?
Freezing.
Don't do it. crystalclearcalgary.com. We've talked about the Zegras thing over the years, and I'm just watching in the chat. It's like, this guy's he's a cat. He's a terrible person. He's this, he's that. And then I think so I read that in the chat, but then I go back and I remember seeing videos of him playing street hockey with kids and giving jerseys to
sorry for cutting you off there. If you're interested in a player like Zegras, you got to know the character, because there are rumors out there that maybe he isn't. Someone's walking around my backyard.
Anyone you know?
No.
Seems like an issue.
This feels like a scene out of Fargo. Careful.
You know, wood chipper there?
Now I've lost. Sorry, that totally.
Zegras character.
Oh yeah.
He's got skill. What's the character?
Wait, and you got to know it. You better have
a huge piece. Like, let's say you're Connie and you're kicking tires. This room is we just said it, the biggest reason they're playing well. They're absolutely greater than the sum of the individual pieces right now because they get along. You have to be very careful about what you add. And to Rhett's point with Nashville, sometimes adding good players can affect the room as well. So you absolutely have to know what's this guy doing on his off day? What's he like? Is this just a bad fit? Or is this a guy that's having a star on the Walk of Fame than being an NHL player?
And who you taking out of your lineup this is our fun GM hat is on. We just traded for Trevor Zegras. Have no clue what we had to give up, but we're inserting him into our lineup. And whose spot is he taking? Yeah. Because you know what? That room loves Costco. That room loves Lomberg. Like, who are you sitting?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
And at the same time, you talk about it just about on a daily basis about going and finding go get a center, go get a young center. Now he's not playing center. He has been a center. This is how you get a distressed asset, a guy that's wore out his welcome, a guy that needs a change, blah, blah, blah. Usually it's guys leaving here.
Sam Bennett.
These guys need a change. They go somewhere else and they flourish. Maybe you can be the other way. Maybe he's not scoring highlight reel goals, but are they pretty happy with Sam Bennett in Florida?
Goddamn right
they are.
Yeah.
You knew Tkachuk was going to be what he was, but it feels like unless you draft him or you somehow land a guy in free agency that wants to be here and is an elite center, and when does that ever happen? Because teams just keep their center. You got to take a crack once in a while. It does feel like one of those, but again, there's risk. It's not one of those no risk type of a things. Because I don't think Pinder, you talked about it. The Ducks, I'm guessing they could have traded him if they wanted to.
Yeah, he's not a Verbeek player. He's not going to be a long-term fit, but they want to get the value they thought they could have got 3-4 years ago when he put up 60 points as a 20-year-old.
Got 2 goals.
2 goals.
Right? And so now it's like, to the whole conversation we just had, like, rather than lose a deal, Pat Verbeek might just play this just like John Gibson, run it down to 0. Who knows?
So he's in year 2 of 3. 25 years old.
He won't be a UFA at the end of it. He'll have arb rights, and
okay.
It's probably that's my knowledge of the situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. RFA, arb rights.
Probably 1 or 2 years before 27 or 7 years of service is that's when you're a UFA. So he's close, but the pressure point's coming here. This is kind of like Trouba in Winnipeg. We knew it wasn't going to last forever. He just had to get the service clock moved along close enough to the end that a trade happened.
9th overall pick in 2019. Played as a rookie in 2021, 24 games, 13 points. And then in 21, 22, and 22, 23, back-to-back seasons with 23 goals.
60 points.
61 and 65 points.
That's unreal. And it doesn't look like that guy anymore. And look, we keep coming back to Zegras, and it's not fair in the sense that, like, there's a lot of young centermen, but there's just how many are available ever?
Yeah,
like, that's the only reason we come back to Zegras, because it almost has to be a distressed asset, or a team would never move him. And that's why this Ottawa Norris thing's interesting. Like, there's a distressed asset and a guy that when he's healthy has looked very good. Are you going to make the bet that shoulder's okay? Because he's produced. Maybe you could even get Ottawa to eat money. But they're just, something has to be going sideways if someone's given up a center under 25. That's why it's on Connie's wish list and might be for the next 5 years. It's the hardest thing to find in the league.
Retro, make some calls on Zegras. Figure out what makes this kid tick. Use your connections.
I would say it's, from what I've heard, it's a lot of column A and column B. It's the wrong environment for him, but he's also a very big Trevor Zegras fan.
Let's mature him. You're 25. That said, I don't know.
I'm kind of wishy-washy on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm as much wishy-washy on it because I did have a dawning last week, but
dawning.
Yeah, remember it dawned on me? That's called the dawning.
The dawner.
But in all reality, they are playing too well to mess with things.
Yeah. Yeah, you let this. You see what you have here, fellas. You don't mess with anything right now. Everything's
yeah, I guess so. Because on the flip side, you're not playing well. It's like, oh well, no one's going to give you help you when you're this whole thing.
Yeah, but if you continue to play well and you don't get anyone, you're not out anything. I mean, my dawning told me that Connie was going to go do it, but I'm just
right. And Frank talked about it there. I think he mentioned it a week or two into the season. Flames are shopping. They're looking for a center. That has nothing to do with how well they're playing. That's his job as general manager with a young team that's looking to get better over year after year.
Looking at the depth charts. Yeah.
Whether they were all wins or all losses, Conroy's out there ringing phones looking to see if there's a young player who'd be a good fit. And I'm not pissing on Frank or anything. That's just, I wouldn't get super. It's not, you know what? It's not.
Frank bomb. Well, it's a Frank bomb.
Not a Frank bomb.
Okay.
That's what that's not.
Noted. Yeah.
What have we got in the Pinder report today?
Well, some Flames, some Sens. Jumbo got retired.
Yeah.
And then we have to react to another week, I believe week 12 of the NFL season.
Oh,
yeah.
I was white knuckle driving from Elkford to Calgary, but apparently they played the games without me. Still happened.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very inconsiderate for sure. Inconsiderate for sure. The Pinder Report is a presentation of Village Honda. How's your Honda?
We talked about what happened to it last week.
Okay.
It's great on those winter roads.
But any update?
Yeah, we're getting into some not talk about it territory.
Okay, good. Village Honda. The Honda Ridgeline.
Not the guy that rear-ended me.
Honda Ridgeline. The convenience of an all-wheel drive pickup, the smooth ride of a sedan. Car and Driver Magazine ranked the interior of the Ridgeline tops in its class in terms of practicality and comfort. And right now, the new 2025 Ridgeline Black Edition get a $2,000 Honda bonus, and qualified Honda owners get an additional $2,000 loyalty bonus. It pays to be loyal.
Bam.
At Village Honda, your dealership for life.
Pinder.
Who bring you the Pinder Report?
Fellas, helmets on. Game day in a tiny town outside the nation's capital. It is the Flames. It is the Sens. It is the first of two meetings in the next 3 weeks between these clubs-ish, as Ottawa will pass through, as Noodles and Rhett will go for a steak in mid-December.
Nice.
Very good. We like steak. Amazon game. Don't be hunting on cable for this one, friends.
Right.
Get the app. Get in there. You can see warm-up. They actually do a pregame show. What a novel concept. They'll be in Ottawa as for the coverage, and I think we might have had an Verk on it. Someone was noting they were looking forward to seeing Verk in Ottawa. I hope they're right.
Yeah, should be.
Did a great job with that Kings Flames Amazon game, 2 weeks back, where Dustin Wolf was a goal review away from a shutout.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back in tonight, starting in the Flames net. As for these goalies they've got, now, Dean, you love a deal. You love Costco, not Kirkland, but like the hot dog. Here's the deal. How about you spent the second least on net mining in the league, but you had the top save percentage at 5-on-5?
I love it.
There's the deal right there. Oh, everything's so expensive. This is inflation proof, Dean. This is the best deal going right now. I have confidence these guys are going to absolutely be efficient spends.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. And I don't know what the future holds for Vladar, what the next deal looks like for Wolf, but right now and is there anything better than getting a great deal?
Oh, so
you find something online or whatever. Oh,
Kijiji.
So good.
Yeah, my son just quit goalie. I've got all this gear. Oh yeah, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. What kind of whiskey do you like? I could get you a really nice bottle of that. There's a good deal right there. Eh?
Try December, my ass.
That's how I got the gear. Bribe people with whiskey.
Right.
Okay, we'll move. Home wins have been good. Home ice been good. We heard Uyghur talk about the identity of this club on the weekend. Now, this needs to be updated. This is from Saturday night.
Well, come on.
Flames leading the league in home wins after their victory at the Minnesota Wild. Now, Toronto did win last night over Utah in the only game in a Sunday slate. They moved to 10-3 at home, but it's Toronto, Winnipeg, and Calgary, the three teams with the most home wins in the NHL. That's tidy.
It's the Dome.
Games, but still.
Intimidating.
Life's good at the Dome.
Why? Altitude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dry air. People get nosebleeds.
So dry.
Cracked hands from shoveling.
Ouch.
It's tough. Real tough stuff. Shoveler must have been thrilled on Friday.
So happy. So happy.
See. T's and P's. Standings look like this. We're at the quarter pole, friends. This is quite something. Literally a point out of leading their division. Also, only 4 points of being out of the playoffs. It is that tight in the West. Odd, but true. What
That's what it looks like at the end of the season, too, though.
No. Home ice is not 4 points out of missing the playoffs. No, sir. But Colorado's come back to life. The Oilers got a big win against the Rangers, but can they do it multiple games in a row? That was after an ugly loss in Ottawa. Vancouver's got some controversy they're dealing with now. JT Miller out. When does Demko return? Jake DeBrusk had a big night for them as they beat Ottawa on the weekend. Vancouver's actually in on points percentage. If you see, they've played 3 less than Edmonton. So there's still some good teams pushing. I do wonder what LA is. I don't get a strong sense I know what the Kings are. Everyone else I see in the playoffs, I'm like, yeah, those are probably playoff teams. It's not a shot at LA. I just don't know what they are. You getting saves? When do you get your defenseman back? We'll move along. Let's look at the lines. Flames ran with some new lines and pairs. It's Connor Zary, your number one center, boys. It says so right there. Who's to argue? But the veterans on his right and left, Coleman and Huberdeau, Kadri, Pospisil, and Kuzmenko. Big goal from Pospisil, the man advantage in the Saturday matinee. Backlund, Coronado, Sharangovich. That trio's look good. Sharangovich has really come to life. Again, slow start after returning from injury. And the fourth line's been excellent. Just been awesome.
So he's with Backlund and he's coming.
No, I just said he was sluggish out of the injury. I don't know if it has anything to do with Backlund, but Sharangovich is all of a sudden creating a ton of scoring chances. I like that.
And while you're talking about bargains, that might be the best deal on a first line center in the NHL.
Yeah, he and all the entry level guys, pretty good.
I mean, who's making that kind of money as a number one center? Well,
I am going to draw your attention to the bottom right corner that says year 3 of 3. He is due for a new contract.
I've been saying it for a while. Get him signed.
Well, and honestly, they're doing the right thing. If he's a centerman, and he's a centerman, I'm now ready to say, yep, pay the man. You got wingers all over, but if he's a center, that's a huge
and again, I'm paying him regardless. Pay him.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting because you got Gridden, you got Basha, you've got maybe Pelche something. You certainly have Coronado. There's lots of wingers around. They've F all for centers.
This guy's dynamic.
He's a center, that is so huge.
Makes things happen. Creativity.
Yeah.
He's got balls,
He does have balls. Overall standings, Flames 8th. Shoot me in the face. No one saw this coming.
Punch me in the face, I think.
That too, yeah. As to the team they're playing tonight, yeah, look at that. Wow. Washington and Calgary, two of the biggest surprises in the league. Have to be.
Scary.
Look at Buffalo Rats.
Not a great road record, though, boys, as they embark on a four-gamer.
It's a good road trip if you want to improve your road record. They are not playing teams that thus far have been good at hockey. Ottawa, Detroit, Columbus, Pittsburgh, nary a playoff team in there.
Yeah. 500 on the road, Dean. What's wrong with that?
That's, I guess, yeah, sure. You've got to be real good at home then. Yeah.
Huh?
How many points for a successful road trip? There's 8 points available here. Like I said, Ottawa,
5.
Detroit, Columbus, Pittsburgh. 5 for
Ottawa,
Reds.
Detroit, Columbus, and Pittsburgh. Those sound like teams you should.
Columbus has been a handful.
They have.
They've been beating some very good teams, which might
be an emotional afternoon on Friday.
Okay, team. Detroit.
5 successful. I'd take that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, memory lane. How do they usually do in Ottawa?
They got Matty
overtime. They always go overtime, Dean.
They don't do very well there. I'll take a look. Get into it.
Near Detroit a couple of years ago, Rasmus Andersson got hit by a truck. That wasn't good either.
Not ideal.
Not the best. We'll move. Sens look like this. There's some skilled players here, but Frank talked about it. Maybe their depth isn't that great. You love Kachuk. You love Stützle. They got Gaudette playing with them. Giroux, Matherson. They brought David Perron in. Were they thinking fourth line right winger when they did that, or is that something?
I think David Perron's been dealing with some off-ice stuff. So
has been
very good. Blue line looks as such. They traded Jacob Chychrun, which is another guy they had on the left. That's probably why they had to get him out. We've heard Noodles talking about this Tyler Clevin for over a year. He jumps in. Shabbat and Sanderson slide up. Zub, the former Okotoks Oiler, Jacob Bernard Docker, I believe, and Nick Jensen or Jensen, depending what country you're in.
Or it's Jensen.
We should have asked Noodles.
His ancestors would have been Jensen, so in Sweden he'd be Jensen. But
we should have asked Noodles about this squad. We
talked to him a bunch about them.
Yeah,
we have.
We'll have a nice recap on Wednesday.
I must zone out when he's on.
Usually, last week you didn't. Yeah. I don't know if you were on acid or something, but you were dialed in last week.
Last Calgary win in Ottawa, November 14th, 2021.
COVID.
Is that the stupid Canadian division year? Gross.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's 2020. I can't remember. Joe Thornton, what a fella. Want to talk about a beloved teammate, boys? That guy went to the rafters on the weekend. Just the second guy ever to go up. He joins Patty Marleau. They put him up a couple of years ago. Very good. Let's see some of the action. We got a jumbo video. Look at me. This suit is unbelievable, by the way. The more closer you get to it, it's got like sparkles in it. With the beard dialed.
Hat.
Looks like he could play for ZZ Top there with the beard and the hat. Yeah, Joe! Out through the shark. This is kind of cool. one of the greatest playmakers.
It's another guy Boston got rid of.
I was just gonna say, and what Frank said,
moves they made to be good for a decade.
They brought him into Boston as a rookie, and he couldn't. He shouldn't have been there.
No, but they picked him first overall. Samsonov was better that year. Remember, they had picked 1 and 8, and I think it was Samsonov at 8. And Samsonov was great. He'd been playing with the Detroit Vipers in the IHL the year prior. Joe was coming from the O, and it was like deep end of the pool.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. Whatever. His bet one of the. Love the guy. Met him. Awesome. Blah, blah, blah. But I remember that year watching. I'm like, they shouldn't have this kid here.
Okay.
But he's big. Yeah.
He's a big tall guy.
And they said, well, if we could get Marco Sturm, we could get rid of this Joe Thornton problem we have.
This Primo guy. We got to have
Primo, him. Marco Sturm and one other guy.
Brad Stewart.
Brad Stewart.
Oh, my God. And they did the same thing with Seguin. Was it like Rich Peverly? And
can you imagine looking back on that and going, Joe Thornton, Joe Thornton. Oh yeah, okay, Joe Thornton, Primo, Sturm, and Stewart.
I hate to say it, it feels like the Fanuff deal.
They traded him 23 games into the 05-06 season. 23 games, he had 33 points.
What are they doing?
2
Finally
years
started to happen.
Yeah, 2 years prior, 36 goals, 101 points.
Years later, yeah. Jeez.
Well, no, that was in Boston.
He had that many in Boston before.
02-03, 77 games, 36 goals, 101 points.
100 points, and they got that back in trade.
And then the next year,
didn't want to pay him.
23 goals, 73 points in 77 games, and then a slow start in 05-06. Beat it.
So he really only had the rough rookie year where he shouldn't have even been in the NHL. Bad decision by the management. And then the year after?
Yeah, the first year he was a half point. Well, he had 7 points in 55 games. Yeah. Should not be there. Then 41 and 81, 60 and 81, 71 and 72, 68 and 66, 101 and 77.
So dumb.
Not fitting in. Tough town, I guess. Everybody talks about Philly being a tough town. Apparently Boston, rough place.
We talked with Frank about the coaching change in St. Louis. Doesn't take Jim Montgomery long to find work. A 5-year deal to run the Blues.
Can I sorry, I don't want to slow you down. I know it's the Pinder Report, but like if I'm Jim Montgomery, I want to sit back for a while, don't I? Like I want to get at least 2 weeks at the beach.
St. Louis, is that you jumping right in for St. Louis?
I think that's why it's a 5-year deal, boys, because he would have been happy to go kick his feet up for 6 months.
Doug,
don't you think he could get a 5-year deal?
I'm just thinking, like, if you were like, okay, I could coach again, but I wouldn't mind some time off. Then Doug Armstrong's like, well, say no to $25 million, for example. I don't know that.
January 1st. Love January 1st.
Okay. $25 million, I'm in.
We're turning the page. January 1st, Doug.
There's a triple header of football on Thursday.
How about Friday, next Friday? $25 million. Okay, fine.
Oh, fine.
My wife makes such a good pecan pie.
Thanks. It's American Thanksgiving.
Thursday. I was kind of looking forward to now. It's what are we doing Thursday? Oh,
moving
practice.
Oh,
moving vans. Oh man,
take the day off, guys.
Slate tonight. We got some games. Let's check them out. Busy Monday. Busy Monday.
Great slate.
Monday. I like that first game. Avs and Bolts. That's a Stanley Cup rematch, if I'm correct. Like that second game. Most surprising team in the league this year, the Washington Capitals in Florida to take on the Panteros. Sure. Flames and Sens you see in there. Dallas, Carolina looks like a heavyweight tilt. Winnipeg, Minnesota, two best teams in the Central today. It's a good little slate. All right.
Carolina.
I'm gonna make so much popcorn.
Vegas, Philadelphia. Great song.
Are you still you change anything with the popcorn regime or same old, same old?
Same old standard.
So it's the white non-hold.
Oh yeah.
You getting that trucked in?
Hulless kernels. I got a big bag right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it in the freezer.
Really? Freshness?
Somebody asked me about the freezer. Somebody emailed a question in. I'll take a look.
Keep going, Ryan.
Greg Clip's inbox coming back
to you, Ryan.
So that's a good one for you there. Back to me. Thanks, guys. Hot football last night. Did you hear Saquon Barkley? Pretty good.
Yeah, Giants.
Frank noted something like that. He sets a Philadelphia franchise record for rushing yards in a game with, as you see at the bottom there, 255. That sounds like a month of work. It's one game, and it's just rushing yards. It's not even his receiving yards. He eclipsed 300 yards on the ground.
Ha!
You think he's having fun there? Looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, there were some Philly fans at SoFi last night. They were having a hell of a time.
Yeah, yeah.
He does the through the legs here and pitches it to an Eagles fan who's got row 1 seats.
Hurts loves it. Yeah. And then, you know what? Here's the thing. Saquon finally figured it out. If you want to score touchdowns, you're not going to get the ball at the 1. They do the tush push there. You got to start running them in from 50, 60, 70 yards. And you did that last night many times.
Good for you, Dean.
Are you a Saquon holder, Dean? You're
Yeah.
allowed to be happy about things. You could be happy about that.
Needed it, but yeah.
Can you give us a smile? Hey, there it is.
I was picking 14th out of 14, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, you always hate picking there. That's a great spot to be,
It's a
apparently.
terrible place to pick.
Now, who would have gone first overall? McCaffrey? Who would you rather have? Saquon?
Who did go first? Was it McCaff?
He had 6 yesterday. He was good.
Just associated for James Cook. Okay, NFL, what do we know? Monday nights, we got that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. This is the Har Bowl. You guys into the Har Bowl? What are you smiling at?
I'm laughing because I've had McCaffrey twice, and he's been horseshit both seasons.
2 years of his career.
You have
Who's got it better than us?
Yeah.
We get it tonight, friends. This is good.
You also had
Right.
Lamar the
John
one
on the
year he
left.
wasn't good.
Yeah, you hated Lamar. This is pretty cool, boys.
Speaking of football, and I know it's a tomorrow conversation, I guess, but I have
Uh-oh.
just with our picks for Bet365, I'm just kind of
Was it one of these or one of these?
well, here's the thing. When we made the picks, we didn't know that Brock Purdy wasn't going to play.
I'm the same way, Dean.
So took
He was
the minus
very
3.5,
questionable.
and then Purdy doesn't play. Then the line goes to whatever it was. And
Did they cover that line or no?
well, no, they got,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about if you're going to make a bet on a Friday. you don't
oh, it's
make a bet
okay.
on Sunday.
So I guess I got my answer there. Very
Easy
considerate.
piece.
I think the two of us, we should be able to argue this point, but we'll do it.
Overruled.
It's a bit.
I'm going to leave with Jack. He's our boss.
Okay. We'll cancel that game out.
Oh, what?
Pick the.
We got to pick the Monday nighter.
Yep.
Oh.
I got the Ravens.
I was going to suggest that. I was going to, if we can wipe that off, we need to take a winner tonight.
So did you guys said San Fran? Is that right?
Yeah.
And Purdy was questionable, and there was question marks Thursday. And
I even thought about changing it, but
we mentioned
I had already submitted, and I'm like, I don't want to screw up Jack's day.
so this is a benevolent dictator here. Jack is going to allow you a redo. Are you willing to accept the redo, and are you ready to make your selection for tonight's Chargers-Ravens game?
Yes, we can do it outside of the Pinder Report, whatever you want to do.
We're on it right now. What's the line, Jack?
2.5. Ravens
2.5.
on the road minus 2.5.
Okay. This is your replacement pick. Don't screw it up.
I'm
Don't
ready to
try
go.
pick both sides, Rhett.
I'm ready.
Fire
You want
away.
me to send it in, Jack, so that there's no copycats?
Let's
Ooh.
count to 3, and you guys just say it. Ready, Rhett?
He's not going to say it.
He isn't. I know him. He definitely wouldn't say it.
He's not going to say it. I got
What
no. We
difference does
can't
it
do
make?
that because he's not going to say it. I'm sending it to you, Jack. I'm
These
sending
are
it.
our own picks. Why would I benefit by copying Dean?
Oh, you do
He's
the
a-
opposite of Dean because his record.
It is
Exact-
true.
Well,
Why would you copy my record?
we're getting great insight.
Ravens favored by 2.5 on the road at SoFi. Brett, who do you have?
I'll go Chargers.
I have the Chargers.
They both get 2.5 points at home. Jack, by the way, did pick this on Friday. He's got the Ravens.
Ooh.
Pizza bet.
Well, and I have to catch Jack, so I definitely have to go.
Perfect.
Chargers.
That's working out great for you then.
They have been good. The Chargers have, Ryan. I know that it still feels kind of
Scaring
jinxy
me.
pants, but that
Yeah.
Ravens pass defense has not been very good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Herbert's been.
Our Bet365 bets later. I'm going to hone in on that with a couple. So be ready for that.
All right.
10-win seasons. They're good in the NFL, right? They used to only play 16 games. Now it's 17, probably a little easier. Last 10 years, how many times have teams done it?
Holy shit.
The Chiefs every year. Patriots probably until they got rid of Tom Brady. And a few teams. Here's
Look
the
at my
Jets.
Bills doing pretty good there, eh? Huh?
Bears got to OT, guys.
They are just finding heartbreaking ways to lose every week, aren't they? They covered for me, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, they did.
Elsewhere in the NFL, we have, I think that's probably it, isn't it? We got one more.
Probably it.
Probably it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I knew we had something here.
Yeah.
Tough one for the Manders. You can't be losing to the Cowboys.
Did you see that? How that played out?
I had Jack walking me through it because it's
hard to
on Twitter.
I had the under, like, what was the score going into the fourth quarter? It was like 10-9. And I had under whatever it was, 40, like 50 or whatever it was. This is cakewalk. They put up 41 points or something stupid in the fourth quarter. Touchdown. He hits Terry McLaurin.
Bomb.
For a touchdown, basically final play of the game. And then that jackanape misses the extra point.
Is that Seibert?
Yeah. And he had missed, I think, did he miss 2 field goals?
He missed 1 field goal, 1 extra
game?
point, but he'd been almost perfect all year. He's been the best kicker in fantasy until he got hurt 3 weeks ago.
Stupid kickers.
Kickers.
Yeah.
Would you call a kicker an idiot kicker?
My drunk idiot kicker.
Idiot kicker opened his mouth. That's what Peyton Manning said.
Liquored up.
Idiot kicker. Well, this clip's called Idiot. Let's see what it is. The Pinder Report continues here.
Right.
No.
Okay, looks like we're in Europe.
Or Ottawa.
Oh. People really don't trust the power of fireworks, do they? They're like, look how small and cute they are. I bet you it wouldn't. Like, you're losing fingers.
Upside.
Bouncing metal bowls off your head.
What is
Don't mess with fireworks, boys.
Are you hammered? Are you high? What are you doing? They're taking the video, so you're impressed.
Clearly deliberate.
Yeah, no, that definitely isn't a fail. Like that's on purpose.
That was success right there, Dean.
Yeah, congratulations. Well done.
Risk reward. Rhett talks about it with his kids, but then every time we come to the Pinder Report, his kids are doing more parkour, and I'm just thinking the risks are very high. What's the payoff? Careful here.
Oh.
Stop it.
Like, there is no way that ends well if he's 6 inches short. Would you like to have some rebar through your chest, sir? Nah, I'm good. Okay, just jump further then. No, I'm just not going to jump. That is wild. Oh!
Maybe it's an optical illusion. Maybe it was...
Is that AI, Dean?
It's a lot closer than it looks.
Where are we here? Sarajevo? Trying to figure out what
that's Scottsdale.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks, Jack.
You can hear you.
Yeah, I know. I could hear him.
Now, what do we have here? I have some scribbles. I can't really read it. Say scary.
Maybe Mr. Laughs is dead, but this is the same live, right?
Yeah, I don't like
That's nice. No good.
That's in your dress. Who knew? Okay, that's probably sufficient. I don't know why that makes me happy. I really enjoy it. I could do that for about a minute, which I think is what we had there.
I think that wasn't a minute.
Cringy?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Finally, we have unlocked a new fear, Dean, for you here on a Monday.
Okay.
Here we go.
So apparently, these come up.
Look at that.
There you go.
Oh, he just disappeared! He went back down!
I won't stop flashing.
He went back down! Yeah?
Calling Derek Newman.
So apparently...
You're moving.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
What did you say the other day? Light a match and walk out?
Just light a match and leave. Is that AI?
I hope not.
For people that aren't watching, you're welcome.
Yes.
That's your Pinder Report on Monday, Dino.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Village Honda. From now until the end of the month, they're filling a Honda right in the right in the showroom. Non-perishable food items. Stop by, drop off your donation, and the village going to take all of it to the Veterans Food Bank of Alberta, helping those who helped us. Another reason why Village Honda is your dealership for life. They care, the good people. And now we said it the other day, and now it's even colder with more snow.
Right.
This is when you want to be test driving a vehicle. Chances are you could go to any kind of place. Oh, the ride's nice, smooth, whatever. How about when it's cold and slippery and, dare I say, treacherous?
Foot of snow.
This is when you want to know what you're buying, what you got. Yep. Village Honda, Northwest Automall, villagehonda.com. Hey, Jack.
Hello.
Do we want to are we doing the Ron McLean thing today?
Yes.
Would you like to do that now, or would you like to hold off? Because I don't want to throw.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you?
You're ready.
Very nice.
Ron
McLean coming to town.
Ronnie.
He is, you know what? He's smart. He's engaging. He's charming. He's incredibly wise, and will be here for a great cause. Take a look.
The Salvation Army's annual Christmas fundraising campaign kicks off November 26th at the Calgary TELUS Convention Center for a magical evening of hockey stories and memories from Ron McLean. Don't miss this incredible and inspiring event. Proceeds and donations go to Salvation Army programs and services that support families and individuals that need some extra help here in Calgary, such as food services, seniors activities, Christmas assistance, summer camps, and so much more. Tickets are on sale now at hopecalgary.ca.
There you go. I'm not the only one here.
No, that's not.
Okay, good. Salvation Army, tickets available, hopecalgary.ca as they kick off the old Christmas kettle campaign.
Boys, go put some toonies in there.
Throw a little bit in there.
Put some tunes.
Do your part. Speaking of doing your part, we need you to take part in this survey deal.
Yeah, let's do it.
You've got thoughts, takes, and opinions. Now is your chance to be heard by us. Well, not by us, by some people who will maybe filter it down to us. Unless you say really hateful stuff, then they probably won't tell us that because that'll hurt our feelings.
And if you want more snakes in the Pinder Report, we can do that. But it's okay.
Go to the when this show go in your YouTube description. There will be a link in there. Click it out, fill your survey, and help us do the things that we do. Build the content that you would like to see. You'll be entered to win a $250 Fanatics gift card. We got multiple gift cards to give away, so your chances of winning, I would say, are pretty good. Again, in the show description on YouTube of today's show, click it and perhaps win a $250 Fanatics gift card. Oh, and Jack even put it in the comments there.
Look at that.
How about it?
He's so on fire, this guy.
Jackie boy?
Oh
yeah. He sent a picture in the group chat. Was that yesterday?
Yeah, that was the football watching.
It's the drop in.
How many
DGens?
It's a lot of people.
We added a dog too.
Oh, what is going on?
What's going on over there? Just a bunch of mouth breathing losers, clearly. No,
what? You'd want to be a part of it, no?
No.
He was going to pop in.
What if you're 24?
Tied down.
I was almost there, and then you sent the photo out, and I'm out.
Do you turn here? I'll risk it.
Yeah. I had food and everything. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Are you guys ready for the sheet?
I'm excited. What, December 2nd?
The sheet. He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
Jeff Merrick.
He's back.
He's back. Joining the Nation Network. We talked to him last week and the week prior. I mean, it's been out there for a while now, but Jeff Merrick joining the network. Daily show called The Sheet, launching December 2nd on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel. It'll also be available for your download for your ear holes.
Right.
If you can't take it in your eye holes. But he will have guests, The guy's smart. He's it's a catalog of knowledge.
Yeah, he's an encyclopedia, Dean.
Yeah,
hockey encyclopedia,
and he's going to put that to work on in podcast form. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to watching it and putting it in my ear holes. So go and because you can go on social media, you can follow. There's him on X and on the thing, and then of course with the YouTube. If you don't already have your YouTube thing all figured out with your subscriptions and that sort of stuff, then get after it. And do it for us too. Like and subscribe to us, Flames Nation. That'd be all right.
You can do that. It helps us if you like us.
We're pretty good.
If you don't, you keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you should be 5-starring us and telling everyone you know.
Yeah, that's right. If you ask us, we're pretty good. I saw that Stamkos and Marchessault scored in the same game for the first time this year on the weekend.
They
beat Winnipeg 4-1.
That's a quality win.
Yeah.
They're going to need a lot of those if they're going to make up that hole that ground that they've.
Yeah, that's cheese already. Toast. Do you think they know about the cheese toast?
Do they hear about this bet, Red? You got Stamkos in on this? You and Noodles? Steak?
I'm very confident.
Well, it's probably Noodles reaching out because you're skeptical. It was Jamie who said that they were going to come back.
Hey, Stammer.
It's like, hey, I got 2 baskets of cheese toast at this place in Calgary. If you picking up here, yeah. Penguins stink. They've lost
Jack's well aware. Did you hear that?
8 of 10.
Huge sigh.
They don't seem emotionally invested, Dean.
What are they going to do with the coach, dude? Like, I know you've said, he's got this thing with the Fenway group, and he's been there forever. He's won some Stanley Cups, but
who cares?
Fire him. If you're the owner of this squad, aren't you going to Dubas and saying?
Dubas is saying it's going perfect. If you want James Higgins, we need to keep this coach here, keep these boys on track.
Yeah, this is
the quickest.
I pay 2 guys. They're going to suck anyway. Let's just ground this thing to a halt.
Yeah, ride it out.
We went from Mario to Sid. Now
to Higgins.
We can maybe go from Sid to another stud potentially at first overall.
Studs up top too.
Did you guys see the photos of the crowd in Pittsburgh the other night?
No.
Horrible.
Really?
So bad.
Was it?
I would say like 50% capacity. I would say the lower bowl was just empty against the Jets.
They're fickle, eh?
Yeah, they are.
Kind of fickle all of a sudden. You still got a bunch of Hall of Famers out there.
Yeah, but they suck.
Yeah, the Hall of Famers are not all-stars anymore. Sid is, and end of list.
I guess so. Sid scored goal number 600.
6 bills, man.
Yeah.
James Higgins, Boston College. Porter Martone, Brampton Steelheads. Matthew Schaefer, Erie Otters. Michael Misa, Saginaw Spirit. It's going to be a banner year for the O. They got 3 of the top 4 guys. That's
We're not going to be having.
Done.
We're not going to be having these conversations, are we?
We'll see. Not the first quarter of the season would suggest no.
So negative. No confidence.
I have plenty of confidence.
No, the other guy though doesn't. He's
no.
I see.
Oh no.
They were pointed out of the playoffs in February last year, boys. That's a fact. That's not a Pinder opinion.
I don't know why you keep going back to last year.
Because it's easy for him. He remembers it, so he just throws it out there like it matters.
No, I just mean like things happen. This has been a great quarter of the season. That doesn't mean the next 3 are going to be as good, right?
You know what, all you Flames fans? Just put your heads in the sand and pull them out. It's winter. Put it in the snow because it's winter and there's lots of snow. Put it in the snow, and in April, you can pull it out, and Pinder will let you know if things are okay. Don't enjoy any of
this. Is all gravy. There's nothing bad that's happened this year.
No, but like in 2014, they were in the playoffs in February.
That's a lot of similarities.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Okay, and
yeah,
don't talk about last year, but talk about a decade ago.
That's the point I'm making.
Players on this
keep
roster
bringing up last year like it matters. Like
because it's all the same roster. How many new bodies are there? 4.
But it's basically like saying, if you're in November, you can be out by April. Well,
no, what I'm saying is like you were way deeper into the season last year, and it's still they weren't even close. Like,
but what if they're way higher in the standings than they were?
They are, yes. Yeah.
So then what does that mean?
You're stating facts that don't matter, though. Like
no, I agree.
There's 82 games this year.
Yeah, no question. Look, I don't want to rate it. I've been thoroughly impressed how they played. I think they're playing like a really good hockey team. They're also like.
So
you also like to be the contrarian, because when we were talking about how bad they were going to be, you told us how many points they were going to get. Now that we're looking at how many points they're going to get, you're telling us how shitty they could be by February.
We could still get Hagens.
It's funny because I think a lot of people are of the mind that, like, man, if you could draft a centerman in the top 10, you'd really be good in the long term, and you would. But it's not bad that they're playing well. Like, it means you found something along the way, that Connor Zeri's a really good player and that Dustin Wolf might be a franchise type goaltender.
Well, that's what we're saying.
Yeah,
but then you drop in with the but.
Well, no, it's just that they're 4 points from being out of
5.
Could they lose 4 points to the Vancouver Canucks over the last 6 months? The next 6 months, like that's really the margin of being in and out is so thin right now. That's all. Like if you think. If we go and find the odds on them being in the playoffs or out, what do you think the odds would be? I haven't looked.
I don't know.
Is it 50-50? Are they like minus 200? They're absolutely getting. Are they still underdogs to get in based on the books? What do you think? That's kind of more the approach I'm taking here.
Kind of tired.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Kind of tired.
Sportsbooks aren't emotional. They don't come in and do 2-hour shows every day. They just, what are the odds?
Are we emotional? I don't even remember how we got on this topic other than you saying they were a point out of playoffs in February last year.
I said, well, we started talking about he listed out the top 3 or 4 prospects, and I said, we're probably not going to be talking about that. And then he said, well,
it doesn't look like it.
Last year.
We didn't get a top 3 or 4 prospect last year either.
No, they were 9, and we're probably 4 or 5 points for picking in the top 5.
Speaking of which, top 5 list, Retro?
No.
Top 5?
Top 5?
Top 5 guys you wish you could have drafted last year, but you.
All right. Well, we could go do the top 5 Bull Valley Championship in Claresholm event. I mean,
we had some Bull Valley content on Elk.
OT shootout to win the championship.
Wow.
Yeah, and those bastard Trails West parents. No, wait, it wasn't Trails West. Sorry, Glen Lake.
Yeah.
Those Glen Lakeans,
the worst.
They're running this tournament, and they absolutely do everything they can to sewer the other team. Hey, guys, we'll play our games on Friday and Saturday. Why don't you get up at 6 and be at the rink in Claresholm so that you can play that game and another for the championship against us?
This is so funny because we had 2 Bow Valley teams, 2 Glen Lake teams tournament in Elkford. And the Bow Valley coach literally left the bench and somehow didn't get tossed from the game, and fans were losing their minds. It was a full meltdown. It was full Bow Valley parent.
But let me finish here.
The alternate universes at the same time in different
cities.
Well,
no, it's not, because I left the bench too. And I had to leave the bench because the Glen Lake parents, Dean. So, you get a time slot for your game.
Yeah.
Hour and a half, let's call it.
Yeah.
Right? You get to put 15, 15, 15, whatever the periods are. Well, if they get down to the last 5 minutes, what do?
You drop the clock to 2.
So we're down a goal. We get a penalty, which is fine. Everything's organized. They should be dropping the puck. Oh, we got a ref, come over. They come over to the box. I got to talk to you about the clock. No, you got the penalty on the clock. We're ready to go here. And it's bastard parents are trying to stall it out.
They're stalling.
Yes.
Stalling.
What am I, an idiot? I'm going to stand
there
and
not.
Take that as a coach?
Nope, you're not going to do that, Rhett.
I'm here for the kids.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to stand up for the kids' rights. They've been working their tails off. They deserve this victory.
And there's nothing, and that's a loser mentality to kind of, could we just get under 5 minutes so we can kill the clock to 2? How about you just dig in and hold on to your lead? Yeah. Or if you're trailing, get after it.
Well, you already got us out of bed at 5:30 in the effing morning to get down there and play 2 games.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough of an advantage.
But
you know what? We battled through, Dean.
Shit, yeah.
We battled through. We killed that penalty.
Yeah.
And then we scored with a minute left.
Yes, you did.
And then we won in the shootout.
Fucking right.
Suck it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, I just sent you something I'd like you to pass along to the fellas. Because again, we were living the same life. Same life, different provinces. Bow Valley versus Glen Lake. Full tantrum on the bench. But the Glen Lakeans, we just let them melt down. We'll just keep working.
Tale as old as time.
We'll just keep working. How did it finish? Glen Lake v. Glen Lake final.
Exciting.
The young man persevering.
Couldn't play at the Flames communities.
We had to go to DC to get the 4 Calgary teams together.
So you guys both champions on the weekend? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, look at the buzz.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sending one in then.
That's right.
Braggy.
Yes. Start besmirching my association's good name, Rhett.
What's that trophy?
Hey, listen, some of your arrogant, rich parents, they really think there's something. What am I going to tell you?
You got 2 goalies?
Yeah.
That age?
2 goalies.
Let the kids skate out. What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
One kid's got sunglasses on. That's not.
Yeah, he's player of the game. It's a player of the game word.
Look at those white pads.
There you go, Jack. 2 can play this game.
Get some puck marks on those
Glen
pads.
Lake. Yeah.
So a big Glen Lake win in what? It's weird.
Claresholm. We went to Claresholm to play Glen. Little closer.
Quite a bit further.
How was Claresholm?
Saturday was awful. Got to, where you're leaving south, going south of town, and you got to cross the river. Got to about there, and in my head, I actually said it out loud to my child. I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, our lives are at risk for you to go play this game.
Yeah.
And so all you had to do to put yourself in my shoes was to go another 2.5 hours beyond that into the mountains.
That's right. Into the mountains.
This Highway 2 is straight. Fellas. Oh, yeah.
All right. That's what we're talking about.
You doing at the front there.
Woo!
Hey, the poor kid hurt his groin. He's injured. We got a kid with the guy in the kid with the tie on. He got a bad hip, old Tanner. Oh, we had to battle injuries and parents and bad reffing. You against the world.
I see you just let it be the kids, eh? The coaches didn't need to get in there like they had anything to do with it.
I mean, I left the bench when they finally pulled it together. So
it's slander. Left-wing lock we instituted that clearly won the game. What do you?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you fellas.
I literally had to leave.
Have you got 2 donkeys on the same team?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, against all odds. It was an excellent development.
You ass kissing fool.
Yeah.
No, the one kid has turned into a goalie. I did not have that on my bingo card.
Nice.
Proud of him.
Nice. Good for him.
So I need it. Well, we got to go. We can talk.
We don't have to go.
I don't want to talk forever. So yeah,
I think we got to have one of those. What was it, Anchorman? Where the other news teams they meet in the street with like bats with nails in them.
Oh.
News teams just go at it. Bow Valley, Glen Lake. Let's find an alley off McLeod Trail. Let's go.
Then those chintzy bastards from Trail West will try and get on it too.
That's right.
Get out of here. This is ours.
Yeah. Can't trust them.
Minor hockey.
Let's do a little bit of Bet365, the world's largest sports betting platform.
Yeah.
Official partner of Barn Burner and Afterburner. Open an account with Bet365 today. You got a huge range of markets. It was awesome yesterday. Buccaneers kept putting more and more points on, more and more points. I kept, yep. Minus 5.5. Yep. Minus 10.5. Yep. Minus 50. Yep.
Yep.
Download the app. Use the promo code NATION when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Love that app.
Hey, Dean, what'd you tell me about the Baltimore defense?
Well, the Baltimore, defending the pass, not great.
Pass funnel. You can't run on them. They make you pass on them. And they are really good against the pass.
Yeah.
Who's been really good catching the ball in the San Diego/LA offense for the Chargers?
Who's that?
No-name tight end Will Dissly's got over 50 yards his last 3.
Big Will.
Wow. 42.5 yards. Not nothing, but it's Herbert's one of his favorite targets right now. You could also go at Quentin Johnson. Huge is 50.5 is his line. And
Lad McConkey, a little ding too, right? So that could play into more for Dissly there.
That's right. And Connor Zary, nice apple on the Sharangovich goal on Saturday. 215 for an assist.
That number.
That's a big number.
It's an assist, not a point, but yeah, good number.
So just keep dishing Connor. Don't be a puck hog. Connor, you listening? That would tell you every assist leads to a goal.
Every time there's an assist.
Let that marinate, Connor.
Let's go. Sweet.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. All right.
I'm on Huge as well. I like that Chargers airing it out.
You
today.
do, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Don't know if they win, but they should be able to throw the ball.
There you go. Bet365. Proud sponsor. Proud partner of ours. Partner on Barn Burner. Was there 5 today? 5? What's game time? 5?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
All right.
5:30. 5:30 again on Wednesday against Detroit. 1 p.m. Friday against Columbus. 5 p.m. Saturday in Pittsburgh.
Right.
We should fly Jack out there.
5 of 8 points, Rhett says. That's a successful road trip.
Fly him where?
Out to Pittsburgh.
Really?
Why not? He's Jack.
Did not sound like he was too excited about them.
Well, I think the Steelers play Sunday.
Now we're talking.
See what I'm talking about? We could have and this is the trip we didn't do. We didn't fly to Pittsburgh, watch the Flames, Pittsburgh, and then the Steelers came in, with Jack.
You're right.
We
did not do that.
Great thinking, fellas.
You might even be able to do.
Oh, they're on the road. Doesn't matter.
Jack, you're
He's such an idiot.
the worst. Huge fan.
Jackie fired.
I did have to fly out of Pittsburgh, U.S. Thanksgiving one time.
And?
Not ideal.
How was the scene compared to Louisville, Kentucky after the
Similar.
draft?
Yeah.
Oh, dear, that's
similar. Yeah.
Cut line to not get divorced.
Like, is there one plane leaving this airport today?
Everyone's
what
just
the hell
standing in the line?
is going on? Yeah, that's true. That was Louisville. That's right.
Oh, boy. God, we were scared shitless.
That was not ideal. Men, predictions for tonight.
Team with the best goaltender wins.
Wolf leads the way. Gets him a victory.
Dean?
With Wolf in, I don't love it. I'll be honest, I don't love it. They've won 4 in a row. Sens have lost 5 in a row. It just feels like at some point there's a breaking point.
Yeah.
But with I've got faith in Wolf.
Well, give us a howl then, if you're so faithful.
Woo! Pinder?
Back to you.
You're just so afraid of ever being
wrong.
No,
sorry. I said the team with the best goalie wins. Yeah, I think either Allmark is great and Ottawa wins, or the Wolves.
That doesn't answer anything, Ryan.
I like the Flames. Sorry, I thought I'd made my prediction. Allmark's going to be good at some point. It's just we haven't seen much of that yet. I'll take Flames tonight.
All right. Sorry to do that to you.
No, that's great.
Sorry to back you into a corner there.
Specific there.
Jackie boy.
Let's go 2-0 Flames. Shout out Wolf. Kuzmenko gets a goal.
All right.
Let me go to the app and see what the odds on the shutout are. These are big numbers, right? The big game odds.
I saw whilst we were doing the show, I saw the NHL release sent out a press release for the 3 stars of the week, and I took a look. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this because this is great. Wolf, one of the stars. Zach Werenski.
Yeah.
7 points in 3 games. Second star, Mikko Rantanen. 7 points in 3 games. And then goaltender, Joseph Woll. Thought it was Wolf.
They missed the F at the end? That's what it was.
Went 2-0 with a 1.00 goals against and a 964 save percentage.
I forgot to type the F.
So just when you thought maybe the league was coming around, maybe they were going to give some love to this guy, guess not. It's about the Leafs. Hey, who'd have thought?
Well, weird. It is weird.
It's just Wolf and the Flames against the world, boys. No one believes. There's more naysayers along the way.
So glad you found your goalie, Brad.
Yeah. So happy for you, Brad.
Looks like you've had a great start. Bradley!
Yeah. Thanks for bringing in our leading goal scorer. It's really working out. Really working out. Is he still leading? Yeah. No, tied with Coronado.
Yeah.
Who I guess he also, in a way, brought in, right?
Yeah, he brought in Zeri, too. There's been some good and bad, just like all other GMs.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do we feel?
I feel good. Championship victory. Home alone this week, which is nice.
Home alone?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd everyone go?
Let the kids sleep in. Thought about just staying home all day, but
yeah,
maybe tomorrow. Go buy a snow machine. Go do some sledding.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
why not? Sounds
you're gonna go buy a snow machine and go sledding.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what you'll do.
Why not?
Yeah,
I don't know why you don't think I will.
The man literally bought a boat to let it sit on property for 2 years unused. He'll buy do not be
I'm
fooled.
not necessarily doubting.
Not be duped.
What kind of sled are you in the market for? What are you looking for?
One of them fast ones, huh?
Maybe a Polaris.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm looking for the best deal. If anyone's got a deal out there,
That's
you know
right.
me. I
There it
love
is.
a good deal.
Brett's gonna wheel in. Hey, I give you a big shout out on the show today. You got a deal for the old former NHL Reds there.
It's like that Flames goaltending. You feel great when you get a good deal on something. When something's great. All right. Is it Boomer Pike?
It's slated as Boomer Pike
I
tonight.
think it's Boomer Pike. Little early afterburner because of it's an early start. So the thing's going to start earlier too than tomorrow.
5:30. It's not 7 or 7.
We'll do this show tomorrow at about the same time, probably.
Ish.
Do you think we'll be in studio tomorrow?
I will.
Not if I got a new sled, Dean.
You'll be sledding in. It'll be traffic.
See you, buddies.